Welcome back to the broadcast. The conversation is love and a career with the Kimanis. And back to you, Dr. Jane. And so before we expound further on, love and career between the two, like husband and wife, or, the two lovers, we look at the other members of the family, the kids. And I have had people who, celebrate that my mom is abroad. Because, well, the goodies that come from abroad are worth. But deep down, you can feel the gap.
Yeah.
Deep down, you can tell that, there's something this child is missing. Deep down, you wish, for the connection if you were that child. Deep down, you wish that someday mom is going to call me abroad. But there's also that fear of what happens if I go abroad and I leave dad around. And that's why sometimes, even when they go there, land of milk and honey, as they say, in as much as I'm told it is not, there's always that aspect of being uncomfortable. Being uncomfortable because you're thinking, how am I able to bring my family to this side? How am I able to struggle to make sure that they join me here? Or when do I get to finish and end my studies and go back home? How do you balance the same?
Yeah, when we're talking about studies, they have an end. And anything that has an end and has a date to an end gives people hope. If somebody leaves and says, next year, November, I'll be back, November 26th, I'll be back, it gives people hope. It's countdown. It's countdown. The problem we have is when somebody goes to work and it is open-ended. Could be there till Christ comes. And I want to say this, the children suffer as much as children of an absentee parent. As much as almost psychologically, not as the weight of a divorced parent, but it is a completely absentee parent, because there are things a boy will need to bond with the mother at a certain age and never get that bonding, and you find most of them goes to some vices. I'm not saying all. There are times you'll discover girls whose dads now are abroad. They have their pride in high school to say they're abroad. But it is just a pride in high school. Beyond high school, you realize there's a bonding with a father figure that makes you who you are, the confident you, the strong you, the go-getter you. And that is something that begins to miss out. Number two, there is also the weight on the parent who is remaining behind with the family. Because yes, you've been sent for that amount of money you wanted, but then the weight of bringing up children alone becomes overbearing at times. It is so overbearing, and the reason why it's overbearing in your mind is because we are two but I'm one. It is okay when I'm a single parent, or I'm a parent bringing up my children singly, rather than knowing that there is a father or a mother who is out of the country who should be giving contribution. And let me tell you this for a fact, no parent will call the children to reprimand them over the phone. They want to retain a good rapport. So what happens, you find a lot of these children have got a bit of an imbalance, and I didn't say all. I said quite a number of them. They've got a certain imbalance when it comes to character, because you either all of you pamper them so that they give you peace. If you discipline them, the parent who is with them fears these children won't love me. But because mommy sends the latest shoes, sends the latest nini from abroad, they are going to love mommy or daddy more. So the essence of discipline, the parent who remains back, if it has to be very strong. And you've got to agree together with the parent who is abroad that when it comes to discipline, when I contact you, your word should be the same as mine. Can you do it from a distance? Yes, when there is agreement. Number two, there's got to be a lot of open communication, because nowadays the world has become a global village. It is easy for you to take care of your children. You can have a lot of time to talk to them, understand about their homework, understand about everything. Talk to them and give them time as individual children. The way you can go out with your child for shopping, you can go out with your child over lunch. Just call on that child, call them, get to talk to them, let them see your face. Nowadays, technology has made it so easy. Let them open up their heart, and then you as parents, be very open to share what the children have to say. Then the children will constantly feel, my dad's input is felt. My mom's input is felt. So I tell parents who have to leave the country for purposes, one or the other, just make sure you're present or absent. Yeah, let technology bring you home.
As if you read my mind, Dr. this goes to you. That is just one of the things that one needs to do as a parent. But then there are a couple of other things that can be incorporated. And I think we started by saying it's all right that times are changing and we have to adapt to the same. And so reality is that, well, we can't segregate the two. You know, love and career, that at some point in time, career is crucial in terms of, you know, filling up the gap of the needs that you have as family, because money and finances are one of the key things that, again, have put very many families down. And so in search of money, people will have to, you know, try different careers, and that's allowed. How do you make sure that it's all right, it works? How do you come in to fill the gap? How do you come in to make sure that it's fine? We could not be comfortable as we would want, but at least we're trying to manage.
As I began by saying, there are decisions that have to be made. And these decisions, if your kids are grown up, then they have to be involved. And they have to be aware of the sacrifice that you are taking, so that when they don't see you at home, they can feel your presence by being away. By this, I'm saying this, that when they don't see you at home, they always have that aspect of knowing our father or our mother is away because of us. And therefore, they have a value for you. It is like the way we have this nation. When we know that our army has gone to another country to fight, we don't have them here, but we somehow understand that they are doing it for us. So even when they come back home, we have a value for them. We have a respect for them. So that should be one thing that needs to come out so clear, that if I'm taking a job away from this home, it is because of our family. And that needs to be reinforced into the minds of the children in agreement with both parents, so that when they see that aspect that you're not there, they can feel that you did it out of love.
Let's talk about, and I don't know how I bring this conversation here, and I love the fact that you talk of technology, and I know somehow with technology, then you can also get that sense of satisfaction, and you know, you just address some of the things that you would want to as a couple. But I am told men cannot stay without women, and so here is my man flying abroad for 2-3 years. Before you know it, he's probably married there.
Yeah.
No, that's a huge challenge. And that is actually one of the things that has broken so many marriages. Because unfortunately, as you're saying, there are many men who are not able, the moment they step out of the confines of the marriage boundaries or within, then when they step outside, they're not even abroad, even from one county to another. You find somebody has gone just inter-county, and somebody has gone to another county, and suddenly they have already started a relationship. And I say that is very destructive to the woman who has actually allowed, because it takes somebody to allow. You know, when that woman has said, I've allowed you to go to another place, and that is trust that you have actually destroyed. I say many of those men may at that particular time find it very rewarding, per se, having those relationships, but later years they find the cost. We have seen it happen. You know, sometimes we need to look at history. We have seen it happen at the funerals, where suddenly a woman comes up and says, I was the wife to this person. And you realize this man at that particular time may have been hiding, but the destruction that has come to the family because of some realities that have just popped up is so much that what he was going for that time was money to provide for the family, but eventually the long term, what it has brought is destruction to the family. That's why I say, more importantly, you need to know yourself. And you need to know that if I am going to step outside there and my family has given me permission, whether you are a man or a woman, has given me permission to go outside there, then be such trustworthy that you will come back one day to your home and they will say, we are happy, our father went and nothing wrong happened. But unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't happen. And that's why I say I would rather have less money in a relationship than so much money coming home and another family somewhere else. So there are some things, you know, especially women are able to pick up a few things. As a woman, there are times I will say this career, this one I don't agree
Can
with.
one confidently say that? And would it then mean that you are trying to put off the candle of this other person? We have gotten to levels that you know, we now negotiate, and I sit down with my husband and tell him it's fine. I know your job entails traveling a lot, I know that you would want to be away for 2 years, and then I'll have to wait for you. Let's negotiate. Let's agree that you have to respect me. Let's agree that you can do whatever it is that you'd want to do, but respect me. I don't know how open or how wise it would be for people to have such agreements and such negotiations. Don't look at me like that, Dr. It is happening. It is happening. People sit down and say, you know what, all right, I'll pack this and this and this. Be careful.
I know. I know. I know. We've had several cases where a woman says, you know, she packed enough protective gear for the man and told the husband, I know you're going and I know you're a man. You can fall into temptation. In case you fall into temptation, use this.
Wow.
But guess what? When she came and they were used, she was like a lion. I was trying to see if they'll be used.
Okay.
There is no woman. Women are too territorial.
Who will allow that?
No woman will allow that. They are too territorial. They'll want to keep their territory and ensure it is you. Women are jealous. Women are territorial. And let me say, worst of all is men. I don't think a man will tell a wife, you know, because you're going abroad, just go and respect me. Just respect me. Whatever you do there, let it remain there. Let me not get to hear of it here. I will take care of the children. Then when you come, happy we go. No. Because the institution was not built on that foundation. You know, we are trying to rebuild our own foundations, and yes, people are doing that because of the challenges of the day. And that's why the institution of marriage has so crumbled. You find now people are getting into open relationships. That could have been one of the genesis of the open relationships. You're there, you have whatever you want. Have an open relationship, but when we are together, we are inclusive or exclusive. It's always inclusive anyway, because they've brought in too much baggage. So what I say is this. As much as that may try to be the factor, there are things that people know happen, but you're silent about it. And they keep saying, what I don't know won't kill me, it won't hurt me. As long as I don't know it, it has not hit my face. It's okay. There is no spouse who has got a spouse out of the country for the last 5 years, who sleeps knowing that spouse has kept the faith, walked the walk. It is very rare. You get what I'm saying? It's very rare. But for women, they're able to wait.
Yeah.
The women are able to it. And I think it's also a myth. As much as, yes, I agree there is a biology of the 72-hour, there is always a myth. Even men can wait.
It's a choice.
It's a choice. It's a choice. At the end of the day is to look at what price am I paying? Who have I gotten married to? Do I respect them enough? Or do I go picking anybody on the street? Yeah, so yes, a lot of that, we can say there's more, the percentage that's successful in waiting, rated 1 to 10 is 2.
Wow. That's the truth of the matter.
That's the truth of the matter. Out of 10, 2 wait.
So is it okay?
For 5 years, 2 wait.
Is it okay then sometimes to sit down as a family and say, it's all right, this is a good career, this is something that is going to pay, this is something that is likely to change our family and, you know, make us be right at the top, but it's okay that we are dropping it?
Yes, you know one thing, I cite, it's a movie anyway, but I watched it many years ago, called The Proposal. And I remember this guy, it was a story about somebody allowing the wife to go one night away with a billionaire. And if nothing happens, she comes back, I think, with $1 million. And they were looking to build their homes. If something happens, she'll still come back with home with $1 million.
Okay.
And the man allowed. And she came back with $1 million. And they built the house, but later the woman breaks up and says something happened that night. And it was devastating. Yeah. We have people who have gone to careers who have gotten wealth, but later in life the cracks emerge. And all those houses they built up suddenly come crumbling. So I usually say, I would rather retain a relationship. That's why even the word of God says, better a little. I mean, a house where there is a little, a dinner with herbs where there is love, than where there is so much, but there is no love. We have families here who have wealth, but there is no love in that family. Yet there is somebody else living with almost hand to mouth, but the joy in that family is beyond. So I would say, I can actually say, it is important sometimes to say no to a career. I remember one book I read of one of the family, very famous therapists called Dr. Dobson. He says the father was one guy who one opportunity came up to him to go abroad and work as a missionary. And they were paying very well. But when he went, the son now who was left now, the Dr. Dobson, who is a family therapist, he was a teenager. He took a vehicle and he had an accident. And the mother looked at that situation and called the father. He said, I need you back home. Now, remembering, he says, the father came back home. And he turned out to be a young, good man, finished college, he became a family therapist, but says he knows that the father never recovered financially because of taking that decision to come back home. But he was looking at their family and saying, but the family recovered something that and they have never lost it. The values that the father brought back home.
Wow.
So I would rather go for values than for money.
Okay. At an early stage, and so I am just about to get married, or maybe I am shopping, I'm looking around. Is it okay to look at the aspect of career? I remember my mom used to tell me that, you know what, during our days, we look at that family that has the right, you know, people, the doctors and all that, teachers, or do you want to get married to this person who's a doctor, who's an everything? And to them it worked, because in most cases then they would give you kids who are intelligent, yeah. But just how important is it for one to look at the person that they're getting married to, you know, their career line and all that? Because I'll tell you for free, some of us thought, because we're getting into journalism, you want a journalist because they will understand when you're coming home late. They will understand when you have to travel for the story. They'll understand when you probably don't come home because it's election period and therefore you are covering the whole time. Doctors will tell you, well, I want to get married to a doctor because when he's on surgery late, I will understand and everything. Just how important is that, or how then does it come in to create a balance?
Yeah, when it comes to that, usually we ask people to attend a premarital counseling session. That is where we break down the expectations and the actual. What does your job entail?
Okay.
Let the other person know, this is what I'm getting myself into early enough. Don't say, when I married you, I never knew that you'll be having night duty. So you're not going for your night duty, and this is a nurse, a doctor, and the doctor is being called for night duty, it's emergency, and the wife is saying, no, you can't go. Huyu amekupigia by the secretary anaongea kama mama. Sasa unaona siasa zinaingia kwa nyumba. So I say one thing, lay down on the table. This is who I am. And understand who you are. Let there be the blending, and people understand in their minds that this is what could be expected of me. There are nights I'll be traveling outside and I'll be going with no other man. I'll be going with my camera because I'm a journalist. And in case there are men, you're all doing the same coverage. So don't be anxious that umeniacha na nani. Number two, when you're getting married, and it would be very hard, by the way, it's usually a big challenge when two doctors marry. It's hard on the children.
Oh.
When two journalists marry, it's not impossible, but the challenge now is on explaining that to the children. Because in this station, the other one is in this station, it's election period. All of you have to be gone. They're children of the house manager. So, it doesn't matter, because at times those couples work out very well anyway when they understand themselves. So get to understand, who am I getting married to? What are the dynamics of their career? If they want to climb up the ladder, what are the dynamics? Am I ready to pay the price? Because in marriage, there's the essence of paying the price, especially if you're the lady. Because it's the woman who leaves the mother and the father, and they cleave. So what price am I paying to get married to a person who at times may be called while you're heading for Christmas party? Yes, you've got the title, I got married to a doctor here, and everybody in the village celebrates you. But do you know the price to pay? Are you ready? Are you emotionally equipped? Are you strong enough to handle the family when such situations come? You're getting married to a man in the army, and they are called to this or this other country, and suddenly the guy is not around. You're not too sure about his safety. Every day you've got to keep him in prayer. Are you ready for that? So it is preparation that makes for greatness in marriages. There's got to be proper, adequate preparation. Then that makes for a happy couple. They work when you're well prepared, you're well equipped, and you're well aware of what you're about to handle.
They work as twins, at least for the longest time I know, but I don't know whether out there it is the case. Sometimes it becomes even hard for people to say that, well, we are in the same institution. It's trouble after trouble after trouble. But then because they have to make ends meet, they have to be there.
It's true. Let me tell you something. As a doctor has said, it's all about preparation, knowing what it entails. Like, for example, you're working in the same organization, in this organization with your husband. He'll probably see when you're being mic'd, when you're being maybe some makeup by all these things. But when you know what it entails in that organization, it becomes easier for you to understand. And that's why we say, early enough, ask the relevant questions. How do you relate? Okay, I know you work in a salon as a man, but now how do you relate with the ladies who come there and they're demanding 1, 2, 3 things? Let your wife know early what it entails. Because, Linda, if a man wants to cheat, or if a woman wants to cheat, it will take nida katano too. Somebody wakes up in the morning and goes to town, then they go to a street somewhere, and 5 minutes they're done and they're back in the office, and in the evening they are there at 5 o'clock doing homework, CBC. And you're saying, I have a very good husband or a very good wife. So at the end of the day, it's all about you as a person, your character, and handing over trust to the other person. But because you cannot become awezi kwa camera.
Is it deep? You can be a camera, but is it okay to stay woke? I know we are almost winding up, but yes, because reality is that there are some who use the very same careers to do the unscrupulous activities that they want to use. And because I know he can come in late and it's okay, his duty dictates that, he then can easily tell me, you know what, leo si kuja mapema niko na surgery, and in real sense they don't have a surgery, they have a surgery somewhere else. So is it okay again not to sit and just accord them all the trust, you know, to be snoopy a bit?
Yeah, it's let me say this, you know, when I was talking, I remembered of cases we've had of, especially if somebody rides a dudhi and the wife is so bothered, why do you constantly carry that lady? And then she holds your back when you're turning the corners. Is it just holding your back? Do you have to carry that one? Can you carry men? And we've had taxi people even complain to us that their wives will scroll through the numbers, because there are people who are constant. Like, we've got guys, taxi people, will entrust with our children, drop these on to campus, do this, do the other. So what happens? You've got to work on trust. Let me tell you, Linda, if you keep your mind snooping, you're going to have such high adrenaline and you'll die young.
Okay.
I say one thing, I will choose to trust you until I've got a reason not to trust you.
Okay.
If I have a reason not to trust you, I will not trust you.
All through?
No. I will not. If I have a reason not to trust you, you've given me the reason not to trust you. I have evidence why I shouldn't trust you. You know, trust is like a mirror. Once it is shattered, you may put the pieces together, but there are still the lines of the cracks. And some are a bit delicate. Right. But if there is no reason for me to fear, I will not stay awake wondering whether there is a patient who is waking up from surgery or your surgery elsewhere in Gathoni's house. No, I will sleep. And there's something I say, and everybody needs to live by principle. And I say in marriage, there has to be a principle. I live by the principle of seed time harvest. If I've not sown a seed, I should not reap it. Number 2, I cannot be anybody's shepherd. The big shepherd upstairs will be his shepherd. And if there's something secret, he will reveal it to me.
Okay. And he will.
And he will. You get what I'm saying? Because if you keep snooping, you may become the nagging wife.
Again, that's a disadvantage.
You'll become a nagging wife. Number 2, whatever you're looking for, you'll get it. And you may get something so different and give it your own context. Because, for example, somebody will have written to him, can I come to, like yesterday I got a call from somewhere. And this person, mine is always, you know, I do mine on speaker because of my ears. Hi, Dr. Arifan. I've missed you so much. We were driving to take our daughter to school. And I'm thinking, so how are you? Okay, it was somebody with a professional purpose. Yeah. And the word miss was perhaps misplaced, or it was placed, I don't know.
Missing people is not...
Yeah, missing
There's
people
nothing wrong with that.
It's just missing people. But you know, if he was looking for snooping, is there a man? You'd have said, who has missed you?
I want to understand that one.
I want to understand, underline the word missed you. Yeah. So whatever you look for, Linda, you will get it. So I tell people, keep your peace. If there is evidence you need, the big man upstairs with our shepherd will reveal it to you.
Wow, I have to finish, man. I have 50 questions more on that. But in 30 seconds. Love and career, we don't drop any. We stick with them, but we have to strike a balance.
True. I usually say it's all about priority. Put God first, put your spouse second, put your children third, put your work fourth. And every time your work tries to take your wife's place or your husband's place, remember to push it back where it was.
Okay.
Keep on creating that balance. But don't, it's not chiseled on stone that you cannot change a few things. It's all about discussing with each other and finding the most appropriate way to make that marriage work.
Victoria, 30 seconds.
I'll just say it works, but when there is need for sacrifice, let the sacrifice be done.
Wow.
But the sacrificer should not live a sacrificial life. Yeah.
All right.
Let them be compensated.
Wow. Thank you so much. I think we close it at that. Like I said, there's more that we can talk on the same, but as always, we say the nitty-gritty details that we touch on could be helpful to you. That's why we always keep the lines open for your feedback and, your numbers. You want to share? No, please.
Dr. Julius and Dr. Jane Kimani. That is Facebook, Dr. Julius and Dr. Jane Kimani. They can chat us from there.
All right, the Kimanis, thank you so much for speaking to us. We close it at that. And up next is Hitting the Kitchen. Chef Ireri is on standby with us. You will love what it is that we're preparing this morning. This is to give you tips so you can try it out at home. By the way, people are still at home. That's the most interesting bit. A majority of us are still working remotely. And so we are told just to break, that monotony, it's good to hit the kitchen with your kids. So the simplest of meals for you to get to understand this, that should be after this break. Thank you.